suburbs. You can also check out the August full moon. Moonrise for Philly is just after 8 o'clock tonight. And tomorrow, very similar temperature wise and sky condition wise to today. And Sunday, we're chasing 90.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Need better sleep? This Labor Day weekend, upgrade to premium sleep at Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Let their sleep experts match you with the perfect bed and get the rest you deserve. They make sleep easy. Shop Mattress Firm's best sale of the year.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Number one on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Burrow waiting for the shotgun snap, 2-by-2 formation, looks left, throws left, caught by Chase, escapes a tackle, racing down the sideline, touchdown! Nice. Bengals, Jamar Chase, picking up where he left off last year.
And a good football Friday afternoon to you. It's the Daily Ticket. Sean Brace riding solo for now. Got some good guests joining us. And a lot to get to. The Fighting's back in action this evening, taking on those Texas Rangers. Pretty good squad down there in Arlington. We'll go over some numbers that matter in that game, including Christopher Sanchez's props, road splits, all of that and more. But, of course, folks, we open up with football. Football. Oh, it's back in our lives. I can't tell you the last time that preseason football has hit me like it did last night. And it is all because of what we have here at the Gambler. The crew that we have built up over the past few years, whatever, where we're at right now, we continue to add with football season. We're going to get some new voices involved. It's just, it rubs off on you, and it's contagious. And, we all got the juices going right now. So we're all firing text messages. And, of course, it's great to have the Eagles back. But bottom line is to see multiple games last night, all the helmets, the names that we've been watching for quite some time, and the storylines and some of the depth chart battles. And, yeah, look, regular season's a month away. That's it. Starting in there. We're under a month as we are at August 8th. But last night, the Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals opened up. Preseason game 1, 6.5 point spread. I told you to take those. I kid. I wouldn't do that, but it was intriguing as far as the numbers concerned. Oh, by the way, the steam, and for those that don't know what that means, it's this point spread. And when it gets pushed up, such as the Eagles, where it was 1.5 all the way up to 6.5, so it got steamed towards the Cincinnati Bengals direction. All 3 games last night were steamed in one way, and all 3 of them went 0-3 that way. So how about that, sports fans? Again, I'm not wagering on preseason football, but if there are plenty of people out there that will. And Nick McClay even cashed in last night in the Birds. So a win is a win. That's all that matters there. But to the actual play on the field, there are certain spots that you can pinpoint and have an opinion on. But I don't understand, and I don't believe any of these hosts in our city or these content creators or anybody out there that's going to sit there. What did you learn? Were you impressed? Dude, Jalen Hurts wasn't the quarterback, even though Tanner McKee, we'll talk about him, of course, the boy wonder. Devontae, AJ, defensive front, secondary. We can go down the list of players that weren't in there. So what did you learn? I don't know. I learned that Tanner McKee it's not a fluke what we saw last year. It was not a fluke what we saw as far as last preseason, the Giants and the Cowboys game, or last night against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not a fluke. That dude could play the position. His numbers were ridiculous. 20 to 25, 252, 2 touchdowns. The amount of points he put up in 6 drives, 27. Like, come on. It's not a fluke. That dude can play the position. And I get it, 6th-round pick. And people are wondering how. Well, let's not fool ourselves. Comes down to attributes. Comes down to, a lot of different reasons why a quarterback will be drafted in the 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, or drop to the 6th. And it's not an exact science. We're going to see Shedeur Sanders play. What was he drafted in the 5th round? I think I said 4th. I believe 5th round was correct. And that's a whole different conversation. But when it comes to Tanner McKee, I think we could all trust our eyes and know that this guy could play the position. And it's simple. For my money, there's so many quarterbacks at the collegiate level, and I've said this 100 times. And if I continue to say it, I should put a $5 bill in the bucket or make it a $10 bill so I could come up with something new. But what separates the quarterback from the collegiate level to having success at the professional level? It's inside the brain. It's right here. It's the head. Tanner McKee's got it. He's able to slow the game down and go from read to read and find his receivers and know who's going to be where. And it's pretty impressive with the guys he's doing it with. Let's just put it that way. He doesn't have Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert out there. And the Cincinnati Bengals have a new rhyme and reason to approach the preseason. Again, I'm not going to put a lot of stock into the fact that they had their starters out there, but it is another angle of this conversation. And it should come off even more impressive of what we saw for Tanner McKee. He can play the position. And if I'm Howie Roseman, just like last year when we were saying this, I'm fielding calls. There are teams out there that I would imagine would prefer to have McKee in their quarterback room. I don't know if teams would be so fast to say, hey, here's 2 first-round picks like we see on the timeline. Come on, man. But when it's a premium position and you go around the league and you see guys like Daniel Jones, who's going to be starting this year because Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy, Daniel Jones is a losing quarterback in this league. He's only getting an opportunity because he started games before. You mean to tell me the Colts wouldn't like that Tanner McKee, the Saints, with Kellen Moore and the connection there? So who knows what happens, right? But on the flip side of that coin, it's a physical football game. Jalen Hurts has been dinged up before. And I'd be a lot more comfortable with him in my quarterback room throughout the course of the season. So maybe that's Howie Roseman's approach. But everybody's got a price, and it's a good problem to have here on August the 8th. You come away with last night and you say, I'll give you an opinion on the quarterback. I'll also give you an opinion on the cornerbacks. Ringo and Jackson, come on down. Now, I thought Ringo was being discussed at a higher level. And I know he's been here. I get it. But I thought I was reading some things from training camp that he was coming off impressive. And you could forget the fact that it's Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. That has nothing to do with it. He was about as stiff and about as upright as I've ever seen someone play that position with expectations. You could have fooled me with his play out there. Again, I'm very reluctant to say, get this guy out of here. He's not, no, because everybody's, can have a bad night out and there's plenty to improve on. You get the film in front of you and you say, okay, this is what I did wrong. But breaking down, the bread and butter for Jamar Chase to Joe Burrow is that out route, right? And I get it. He can fly right by you, but we've seen it 100 times. And Ringo just goes up there and it's like, dude, no breakdown. No, okay, he's caught the ball. Now my job is to get his ass down. It just runs right by him. It's like, well, what am I watching? That was ugly. Very, very ugly from Ringo and Bo Jackson, who are competing for a starting cornerback job. I know the Eagles made a trade last week. I know that we were searching for some answers on why. Maybe there's a little bit of the reason So we'll keep those phone lines open because that is a very important position. But all in all, they do have some options. Of course, we know who's in the secondary for the Eagles, and we'll see how that one plays out over these next few weeks. Of course, with Vic Fangio, we trust. Howie Roseman, we trust. I don't trust Ringo, and I don't trust Jackson. That's for damn sure. But again, I do want to be up front and say that, yes, it's got to be a tough situation to go up against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I get it. But, man, there was some bad tackling, just pursuit angles, and really had me scratching my head just a little bit. But, again, it's game one preseason. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, what did you learn? Were you impressed? A or B? No. We'll save those conversations for when it actually matters coming up against the Cowboys. Anyways, if you do want to give your take on anything other than the quarterback or the cornerbacks, love to hear it. Look, as far as the wide receivers are concerned, I thought Johnny Wilson looked good. On the broadcast, they said he's the tallest wide receiver in the NFL. 6'6". Okay. Is that true, though? I mean, I didn't go through and look at all the rosters out there, but they said that last night. Scott Palmer said that. And I think that the booth with Ross Tucker, Palmer both did a really good job. Spadero on the sidelines. I think that's a good booth. We're lucky to have those guys as far as preseason football is concerned, right? Some of these preseason booths are put together by guys that have been covering a team for decades, and let me throw them a bone, get them in there, and it's like, not the best. But I think that's a pretty good booth. No lie there. Of course, Ross Tucker loves football and it comes off. So anything that we get with him is a good thing. I'm a big Ross Tucker guy too as well. As far as the receivers are concerned, again, I'm not going to go too crazy here, but Johnny Wilson looked pretty good, threw up some good numbers there, right? Brooks was looking pretty good. Darius Cooper, I thought, looked pretty good. The undrafted rookie from Tarleton State. 6 catches for 82 yards. Pretty good. And like I said, I'm not going to go nuts here on any of this other than that, but as far as defenses on the other side, Jahad Campbell, I thought that was just fun to tune in and see him out there buzzing and being all over the field. Of course, had an opportunity to come down with that interception, did not make it. But bottom line is having Jahad Campbell out there right now is not something that I thought we would see when he was drafted. Hearing all the speculation as far as the injury is concerned, and now here he is running around with the ones or starting for preseason game one, trying to earn his keep. Thought that was pretty cool. So something that you could build off of as well. One thing that I'm running a promo right now as far as the running back was concerned, Will Shipley, we knew he could catch. We know he's fast. He had an early 38-yard run, and I believe he didn't really get much PT after that. A.J. Dillon was talked a lot about yesterday on the show. Julian Edlow brought up the fact that the Eagles brought him in. He thinks to spell Saquon, because you look at what A.J. Dillon has done in the past couple seasons, he's tallied up some good numbers. It's a good problem to have. You want Shipley, you want A.J. Dillon. No idea how that shakes out. But if you have both of those guys, right, I would assume there's a reason to keep both of them. I don't know how that's going to work when it comes to the depth chart come against the Cowboys. One's got to go or not, but we'll see. But both look pretty darn good. Shipley, I am more partial to him. I like his style. Young, athletic, a little bit more in the pass game. And this is where, we get into the details. Pass protection, who's better, right? Like, these are things that are discussed at a higher level down at the NovaCare complex. But to the naked eye, I think both are pretty darn good. You want both of those guys in camp right now. Raising each other's game. They both know that they're playing for that second running back spot, RB2. They know they're not coming for Saquon's spot. Anyways, I thought that was pretty good as far as Dillon and Shipley both yesterday, and that's probably the number one as far as training camp battle that I have my eye on. Again, I have a promo running that, and we were talking about that early last week. So something that we can continue to focus on in a positive manner, right? Again, offensive line wasn't out there. You saw Lane. You saw the boys having fun. Crustables eating up on the sideline. The timeline is back. Football season's here. The overreaction. Johnny Wilson and Tanner McKee could win a Super Bowl. I love it. I love it. Give it to me all. Football season is here. I woke up this morning. I swear there was a chill in the air. I swear there was a chill in the air. And then I looked up into the trees. It's about 6:25 in the morning. I'm an early riser these days with 2 kids. And I look up and there's a little piece of the leaves on this tree that's right above my house. And I kid you not, those leaves are starting to turn. Could have been a burnt mark from the sun. I know it was hot last week, but in my mind, I'm thinking football season is here. And if you close your eyes, kids, you know it. It's right around the corner. There's nothing better. And whether you're a fan of the Detroit Lions or the Seattle Seahawks or the Houston Texans, the Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills, or the Philadelphia Eagles, it's a brand new season. Anything is possible. The Eagles could run it back. They could go to another Super Bowl. They could win the division. I was asked about that yesterday. I did a hit on VSiN as soon as I got home about 7:30, and it's crazy to reflect on some of the great teams in the NFC East that did not go back-to-back. And that would be a huge, huge victory for this team to raise up another banner to win the division in back-to-back seasons. Of course, it doesn't mean much if you don't get it done as far as in the Super Bowl. But still, nonetheless, it's great to see. Something like that is a possibility. Now, as I said, I woke up this morning. The chill was in the air. I look up, I see the leaves. I'm like, man, that isn't fall foliage, is it? And then I took a sip of my coffee and I just closed my eyes for a second and I heard. I swear, out of nowhere, I heard Boys of Fall. Oh, come on.
I feel that chill, smell that fresh cut grass.
Tell him, Kenny. It's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Back in my helmet cleats
and shoulder pads. We're here, baby.
Standing in the huddle, listening to the call.
Oh, man. So good. Goosebumps.
Fans going crazy for
the Boys of Fall. Yes, the Boys of Fall. Folks, it's not beat season. Put away those sand toys and those blow-ups, the tubes, the flip-flops. Put them to the side. Break out the mouthpiece, the helmet, the shoulder pads. The Boys of Fall are back.
Kings of the school, man. We're the Boys of Fall.
Oh, so good. Not yet. We will. We'll have plenty of time for that. I promise you. We'll have plenty of time for Kenny Chesney with the Boys of Fall. I kid. With that being said, get involved in the conversation at Fox PHL Gambler. Love to hear your thoughts. Last night, Game 1, Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, we got 3 games tonight. We'll talk more about Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. Oh, by the way, next up for the Eagles, Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. So do a little scouting, as they say, tonight. I kid. But it will be fun. It's definitely a storyline that I will be paying attention to. We'll also talk about the other two games that took place last night, some of the names that popped off as far as the box score is concerned and the expectations. But let's go ahead and do this. And over to the Diamond. Phillies back in action tonight, taking on the Texas Rangers down in Arlington. Christopher Sanchez on the mound. And look, here's where I stand on this one. Texas is a pretty damn good squad. Merrill Kelly is a pitcher that the Phillies have seen time and time again. So right there, you should have a little bit more of a good vibe heading into this game. Sanchez, a good-sized favorite at -137 on the mound here. A low total of 7 coming in for this game, +113 for Merrill Kelly. That 7 number is eye-opening. I was looking at that earlier today going, man, that is a low number. So immediately I start to think that maybe sports books are onto something a little bit here. This could be a 3-2, 4-3 type of ball game, just stays under the total and is a dominating performance by both pitchers. But for my money, if you're going to say, hey, who's going to have the better outing, I have to take Christopher Sanchez, who essentially averages right around 7.5 strikeouts per outing. He's at 6.5 at plus 120. That's where I'm going. Sanchez, for my money, is the play tonight. Again, getting him out there on the mound, going up against a good team with Texas, coming off the night off too as well. I really do like the Phillies in this spot I do like Sanchez in this spot more than the Phillies because I just think that this is going to be a tight ball game, not a lot of offense. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe the bats are rested and ready to go after having a night off. But for my money, the one play that I will be placing tonight, plus money on the over 6.5. Sanchez has been a monster. Some people out there feel like that he is the best pitcher on this staff. I wouldn't go that far. I think there have been times he's been the best pitcher, but Zach Wheeler for pound is my guy as far as the ace of this staff. But it's been fun. It's been a real fun ride to, of course, watch Christopher Sanchez work all season long. And look, we've been talking a ton about potential as far as the playoffs and, expectations. And it starts and ends with the fact that you will have an opportunity to open up any series with Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez 1-2. I mean, that's he's coming up against the Rangers. Once again, I will be on Christopher Sanchez. Maybe take a look at Schwarber again, going up against Merrill Kelly, a guy that they have known, that they have seen before. And as far as Kelly is concerned, the Rangers did acquire him, of course, with that the trade deadline. 2-2 in 5 starts, allowing 9 total runs in 30 2/3 innings. That's for Kelly. He had a pretty good month of July. He's 2-1 with a 2.735 lifetime appearances versus the Phillies, 30 innings. He saw the Phillies a little earlier this season, and he allowed a run on 4 hits, 5 innings, and a no decision. So we'll talk plenty more about tonight's game. Fire up DraftKings, take a look at some of those props from the hitter's perspective. But I think this is a pitcher's duel, so I'm going to go Christopher Sanchez with our guy. All right, we do have a lot to get to, including we have some other new sports that will be starting here soon. It's not just the boys of fall. The English Premier League getting fired back up. Philadelphia Union back in action here for the MLS. They had a friendly, I believe, and now they are back into the MLS season. Back for it. It's a long season. But they have a game tomorrow night. Again, they're top dogs in the East. Larry Henry Jr. is going to talk a little bit more about the Union expectations. Picked up a new player, so that's fun. We like that. We don't really get that often here with the Philadelphia Union, picking up big players that will make a dent, make a difference for the second half of the season. So excited to learn a little bit more about their new player that they have. And Tom Brady is involved with a lot. Over the weekend, Brady was up at the National, where we were broadcasting live from Chicago. And he opened up a brand new store called Card Vault by Tom Brady. And it was pretty cool. It's right outside Wrigley Field. Wrigley Stadium, listen to me. And he is opening up another one in Soho. I believe the plan is to open up 12 to 15 this year in the United States. We'll see if Philly gets one of them. Don't know. I don't think Tom Brady really likes Philadelphia, but we'll see. But he is involved with a soccer club as an owner, and they are playing tonight. And Larry Henry Jr. is going to talk a little bit more as far as what the expectations are for his soccer team. Now, I will say it's Birmingham City Football Club. Now, I only know about this because there was a snippet of a video that popped up on my timeline where Brady wasn't impressed with Wayne Rooney, Manchester United Wayne Rooney, who's the head coach, the manager of his team over there at Birmingham City. Now, Rooney is, his own way, and he scored a bunch of goals, but I don't know if that reflects as far as coaching style is concerned. Brady is not impressed with the way Wayne Rooney handles himself as the manager of his team. So I would imagine that's not a good recipe for success. I would imagine Rooney won't be there exactly the longest if they don't start the season off on the right foot. But they're playing tonight, so something to keep our eyes on there. Taking on Ipswich, if I'm not mistaken. Larry Henry Jr. is going to talk a little bit more about that on the other side. Plus, he's got a new blog talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, we'll hear more from Larry Henry Jr. on the other side. Also on today's show, speaking of the National, Shane Wynn, who is the director of communications from the National Sports Card Collecting Convention that we were live all last weekend. And to put a bow and to hear more about what's next, Shane's going to join us from Chicago. He's a Chicago sports fan. We'll hear a little bit more about what's happening and all the highlights that we might have missed. Again, if you are on social media, just check out what they have to offer, and you will see why you need to get to a national show or one of these local card collecting shows, specifically the Philly show that's coming up here in September. We'll be live from. It is so cool, and you don't have to be a card collector. You don't have to be, a memorabilia collector. You have to be a sports fan. If you're a sports fan in the least, you'll love it. You'll love it. Big names walking around, a lot of community, a lot of people in there for the right reasons, the same reasons as you, just to have fun, a little nostalgia, right? And I'll tell you what, some big names, as I said. So Shane's going to join us a little bit later in the program. Coming up, though, 5 o'clock, you'll hear all things college football. Myself, Tansy Beef, and Mark Henry Jr. It's summer school, classes in session. We talk about all things national championship contenders. We do a snake draft. Fun stuff there. I ended up with Alabama, Texas, and the U. If I can get one of those teams to win the national championship, whoa, lucky me. I'm going to go ahead and place a wager on all three of those. Not exactly the biggest payout. Texas is the odds-on favorite with Ohio State at plus 550 on DraftKings. Alabama was 10-1. The U was a little bit more up there. I don't forget exactly what that number was. But we did a snake draft, had some fun. We all made the case. And, it opens things up because you're going to take teams that, you really maybe don't believe it. Texas is a team that I'm up in the air on. Like, I'm a huge Arch Manning guy, but they lost a lot of pieces, and they open up the season at Ohio State. That's a tough game that I expect them to lose, but we'll see. Anyways, and then what happens from there, your guess is as good as mine. It's a long season, but it's great to have football back in our lives. So you'll get a lot of college football conversation coming up at 5 o'clock. X is in the U at 6 o'clock. Brand new episode, All Things Philadelphia Union with Sebastian 2, Adam Booth, and Maddie G. We got a lot to do. Don't touch that dial. And if you missed anything, at foxphlgambler.com. More after this.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming